Let's be honest. It sometimes feels like women are never fully happy. Even when they're in love, have a good man, or seem to have everything they've ever wanted, something still feels off. You might notice it. The constant overthinking, the sudden mood changes, the emotional distance that doesn't quite make sense. And as a man, you probably wonder, why? What do women actually want? Here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Women's unhappiness doesn't usually come from men. It comes from themselves, from emotional confusion, internal pressure, and unrealistic expectations that society, social media, and yes, sometimes their own desires have created. See, a lot of women live in a mental tug-of-war. They want freedom, but also stability. They want to be desired, but also respected. They want control, but deep down, they crave to be led by a man they can trust. That constant conflict creates emotional chaos, and it often spills into relationships. Most men don't realize that a woman's unhappiness is rarely about something you did wrong. It's about the emotional storm happening inside her. You could be the best man in the world, but if she's lost her sense of peace, nothing you do will be enough. But here's where it gets interesting. Women don't even understand why they feel that way most of the time. They'll blame boredom, routine, or even you, not realizing the real issue is internal. And when that inner tension builds up, they start to pull away, pick fights, or sabotage the very thing that's making them happiest. So today, I want to give you real insight, the kind of truth women feel but rarely say out loud. By the end, you'll not only understand why so many women seem unhappy, but also what makes a woman finally feel content, secure, and emotionally at peace with a man. 1. She's addicted to the chase, not the peace. Here's something most men never realize. Women love the feeling of emotional movement, the thrill, the uncertainty, the rise and fall of emotions. It's not that she wants drama for the sake of it. It's that she's addicted to feeling something. The chase gives her that. The peace doesn't. When a woman first meets you, everything feels electric. Every text, every look, every silence, it all holds emotional weight. Her mind is racing, her heart is guessing, and she feels alive. That's what the chase gives her. Adrenaline mixed with emotion. It's unpredictable, and that's exactly what keeps her interested. But when the relationship settles, when things become consistent, safe, and calm, she often starts to feel something missing. She confuses that peace with boredom. To her, the absence of chaos can feel like the absence of passion, and that's where the problem begins. Let's be real. Most women aren't consciously aware that they're addicted to the emotional roller coaster. They'll say they want stability, a mature love, a peaceful relationship. But once they get it, their subconscious starts craving the old emotional highs. That's when they start picking small fights, becoming distant, or creating problems that don't need to exist. It's not that they want to hurt you. It's that their emotions are wired to seek intensity, not calm. There's also this social narrative that fuels it. Movies, songs, social media. Everywhere you look, love is portrayed as dramatic, passionate, full of extremes. So when a relationship feels balanced, it doesn't match the love should feel like fireworks idea she's grown up believing. She mistakes emotional safety for emotional dullness. Here's how it often plays out. You give her everything she says she wants: loyalty, effort, consistency. At first, she appreciates it, but slowly she starts feeling restless. The texts feel predictable, your affection feels routine, and the energy between you feels too still. She starts wondering, is something wrong? When really nothing is. She's just uncomfortable with peace. This is why so many women walk away from good men. Not because the man failed them, but because peace doesn't feed their emotional addiction. And here's the ironic part. After leaving, they often end up missing the exact peace they once ran from. They realize too late that the calmness they found boring was actually security. 2. The illusion of having it all destroys her joy. One of the biggest reasons so many women today are unhappy is because they've been sold an impossible dream. The idea that they can have it all and do it all without consequence. On paper, that sounds empowering. But in reality, it's exhausting. It's left a lot of women feeling emotionally scattered, spiritually drained, and constantly unfulfilled, no matter what they achieve or who they're with. Think about the kind of pressure women live under today. She's told she should be ambitious, independent, career-focused, emotionally strong, and self-sufficient. But she's also told she should be soft, nurturing, feminine, and relationship-oriented. She's expected to balance masculine drive with feminine energy. And that's where the tension starts. Because when a woman spends too much time operating in masculine energy, pursuing, controlling, achieving, she naturally becomes disconnected from her emotional core. And that's where real happiness lives for her. Many women don't realize that their constant pursuit of more success, more attention, more validation, often robs them of peace. They live in comparison mode, measuring themselves against other women online, other relationships, other lifestyles. Even when they have something good, their mind drifts to what else is out there. And this mindset bleeds into relationships. If she's constantly chasing the next high in her personal life, she'll unconsciously start chasing it in her love life too. That's why you see women who can't appreciate a stable, loyal man. Not because he's lacking anything, but because she's addicted to the pursuit of something better. The problem isn't the man, it's her inability to slow down and be content. 3. She doesn't know what she really wants, and that's the root problem. Here's a truth most women won't admit out loud. A lot of us don't actually know what we want. We think we do, but what we really have are conflicting desires. We want love, but we also want freedom. We want a strong man, but we want control. We want security, but we crave excitement. And that inner contradiction keeps us in a cycle of constant dissatisfaction, especially in relationships. See, the modern woman is pulled in two directions. On one hand, she's told to be independent, to never depend on a man, to always put herself first. On the other, her natural instincts crave connection, partnership, and emotional safety. So she tries to balance both. But instead of feeling fulfilled, she feels confused. Because no matter which side she leans toward, the other side starts whispering in her ear, telling her she's missing something. That's why you'll see women leave good men. It's not always about the man doing something wrong. Sometimes it's because she doesn't understand her own emotional needs well enough to recognize that what she has is actually what she's been looking for. But because it doesn't look exactly like the fantasy she's built in her head or the one she sees on social media, she assumes it's not right. A woman who doesn't know what she wants is dangerous to herself and to the relationship. Not intentionally, but emotionally. She'll create chaos without realizing it. One day, she'll want affection and reassurance. The next day, she'll want space and independence. One moment, she'll crave commitment. The next, she'll question everything. And if a man doesn't understand this pattern, he'll take it personally, thinking he's doing something wrong, when really she's just battling herself. Men often think that if they just love a woman harder, she'll become more stable emotionally. But that's not how it works. The more you give to a woman who's unsure of what she wants, the more confused she becomes, because now she's overwhelmed by having something real when she hasn't yet defined what she's ready for. 4. She confuses comfort with boredom. One of the biggest reasons women end up unhappy in relationships or walk away from something good is because they mistake emotional comfort for boredom. A peaceful relationship feels too calm, too predictable, too stable. And since she's been conditioned to associate excitement with passion, she convinces herself that if she's not constantly feeling something, something must be wrong. This is one of the quietest but most damaging psychological traps women fall into. You see, a lot of women grew up equating emotional highs and lows with love. The tension, the uncertainty, the drama, those things trigger her emotions and make her feel alive. So when a man comes along who gives her peace instead of chaos, her mind doesn't know how to process it. It feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar doesn't always feel safe. That's why you'll hear women say things like, "I don't know, he's a good guy, but something's missing. What's missing isn't passion, it's dysfunction." She's confusing the lack of emotional chaos for lack of attraction, and because she's not used to stability, she assumes peace equals boredom. This confusion doesn't happen because women are shallow or intentionally destructive. It happens because emotional volatility has been normalized. Modern dating culture glorifies drama, the chase, the games, the constant emotional roller coaster. Movies, social media, even relationship advice tell her that if it's not exciting, it's not real love. So when she finally experiences a relationship that's mature and calm, she subconsciously starts to sabotage it. She'll pick fights over small things just to feel the emotional intensity again. She'll withdraw affection to see if you'll chase her. She'll test boundaries to see if you'll react, because in her mind, your reaction equals proof that you care. And when you don't react, she assumes you've lost interest. 5. She's addicted to validation, not connection. Here's the uncomfortable truth most women won't say out loud. Many of us are addicted to validation, not real connection. We crave being wanted more than being understood, and that addiction is one of the main reasons so many women feel unhappy, even when they get attention, affection, or love from good men. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a woman who's in a relationship with a man who genuinely loves her. He gives her attention, compliments her, stays consistent, and makes her feel safe. But slowly, she starts feeling something she can't explain: restlessness. That's when she picks up her phone and scrolls through social media, posting something a little more revealing or cryptic than usual. She says it's harmless, but what she's really looking for is that little dopamine rush that comes from someone else noticing her. That's how it starts. Small hits of validation that make her feel temporarily important. But the more she gets it, the more she needs it. Because validation, like any other high, fades fast. It's the instant approval that feels like confidence in the moment, but leaves her emptier afterward. And that's the real issue. Many women today confuse validation with worth. They think the more people desire them, the more valuable they are. But that mindset creates a loop of emotional dependence, because now her happiness depends on how others respond to her, not how she feels about herself. This is why some women struggle to stay emotionally present in a stable relationship. A good man's love feels steady, consistent, not like the instant hit of attention she gets from outside sources. And if she hasn't learned to build self-worth internally, she'll start to pull away from the man who gives her real connection and lean towards situations that give her temporary validation. This is also why so many women sabotage good men. When the attention becomes familiar, they assume the relationship has lost its spark. But what really happened is that the novelty wore off. She's mistaking the end of excitement for the end of love. And instead of deepening the connection, she chases new validation to feel alive again. 6. When curiosity turns into regret. At first, no contact feels like a game to her, something she can win. But as the silence continues, something unexpected starts to shift inside her. Curiosity slowly turns into regret. It's not instant, and it's not dramatic. It's a quiet, creeping feeling that builds over time, especially when she starts to realize that you're not chasing anymore. At this point, she begins to replay everything. The last conversation, the small arguments, the tone of your voice when you stopped trying. She starts noticing things she didn't before. How calm you were at the end. How you didn't fight to prove your worth. How you simply walked away. That energy sticks with her. And because women are emotionally intuitive, she senses that something about you has changed. You're not angry. You're detached. Now this detachment hits her ego first. It makes her wonder, wait, does he not care anymore? But soon it goes deeper than ego. She begins to miss the version of herself that existed when she was with you. The woman who felt wanted, adored, and validated. Your absence doesn't just remove you from her life. It removes the emotional identity she had while you were in it. This is where regret begins. She starts realizing how she took your consistency for granted. The texts she once ignored now haunt her. The effort she dismissed feels valuable in hindsight. She might even start checking your social media, trying to decode your silence. If you look calm, happy, or focused, it burns her curiosity even more. And if she senses that another woman might have your attention, that's when regret turns emotional. It's no longer about missing what you gave. It's about missing the feeling of being chosen. So, when curiosity turns into regret, a woman is no longer wondering where you are. She's wondering if she already lost you for good. And that's the moment you become unforgettable. 7. What happens when you stay silent? Long enough. When you stay silent long enough, something powerful happens. The emotional roles reverse. The woman who once felt in control of the connection begins to feel powerless. She starts to realize that her silence doesn't affect you anymore, and that realization shakes her sense of importance in your life. Because women are used to men reacting. They're used to attention, emotion, and pursuit. But when a man goes quiet and stays quiet, that calmness becomes deeply unsettling. Over time, your silence becomes louder than any message you could ever send. It communicates strength, discipline, and self-respect. It shows that you're not sitting in your emotions anymore. You're mastering them. And that, to a woman, is both confusing and magnetic. It forces her to confront the truth she's been avoiding. She no longer has access to the man who once made her feel secure. As the days turn into weeks, she starts to wonder what's going on in your world. Has he moved on? Does he still think about me? Why doesn't he reach out? The longer you remain silent, the more those questions echo inside her mind. Every unanswered thought becomes emotional tension. Every image she imagines of you smiling, progressing, or even being with someone else fuels that tension. If she truly cared, even a little, this silence becomes unbearable. She might test the waters by liking an old photo, sending a casual, "Hey," or finding a random excuse to talk. But here's where you stand firm. You don't rush in. You don't validate her attempt. You let her feel what it's like to earn back your presence. Because the truth is, the power of no contact doesn't come from ignoring her. It comes from evolving while you're silent. When you do that, she doesn't just see the man she left. She sees the man she can't reach anymore. And that's when she finally understands what losing you truly means. Here's the truth no one tells you. Most women aren't unhappy because of men. They're unhappy because they're at war with themselves. Society told them to chase independence, power, and validation, but deep down, what they crave is connection, love, and emotional safety. That internal conflict leaves them restless, so they project it onto men. They demand more, but when they get it, they feel empty again. They want to be desired, but not dependent. They want to feel safe, but not vulnerable. It's a loop that keeps them chasing something that doesn't exist. Constant satisfaction. That's why you can give a woman everything, your loyalty, your time, your energy, and she'll still feel something's missing. Not because you failed, but because she's trying to fill an emotional void that only self-awareness can fix. The truth is, most women don't know what they truly want until they lose the man who made them feel grounded. And that's when the pain hits. That's when they realize peace doesn't come from control. It comes from balance. So here's my challenge to you. Stop trying to make women happy. Start being the kind of man who's already at peace within himself. Because when you're centered, calm, and strong, her chaos can't pull you in. And ironically, that's what makes her feel drawn to you again. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think women are truly unhappy with men or with themselves? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading and replying personally. And remember, you don't need to chase her peace. You only need to protect yours. Because that's the kind of man no woman ever forgets.